Hey, hello, and welcome to JP's Product Pick of the Week. It's me, John Park, and here we are. Ready? Let's do this. It's time to check out a really cool product this week. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send you over to the product page if you're not there already. And that's this URL right here. So you can point a camera or a phone at that little mini QR code there. Head to this URL. It's Adafruit product /4701. The reason I'm sending you there is that if you head on over there, you're going to find there is what I like to call an absolutely ludicrous discount. Oh no, my page needs to get updated. Give me 1 second. All of my screen captures decided to go weird on me. Love it. There, come on, update thing. That should have done it, and it didn't do it. Yeah. Oh, and we're out of sync. Oh, that's interesting. Bring me back for a second. Hey, hopefully I just fixed the sync. All right, this is going to be an adventure if I don't have some of these screens to show you. So stand by a minute while I attempt to get the software to agree with me about what it's showing. Yes, and yes. Doesn't want to do it. All right, we're going to make a new screen capture window. Hold on. This is a real adventure. Yeah, you can head on over if you are, hey there, ATmaker Bill. If you're over in the Discord chat, there's a link there that you can go and check out. I'm going to add a new screen cap to that. Oh, software, you are an adventure. This thing was so beautifully set up before, and then I went and had lunch. That'll teach me. Stand by, please. Chrome. And there it is. It's going to be a little huge for a second. Let me bring that size down. All right, that's what I'm going to send you over to look at. That's the Adafruit ST25DV16, and it is a QR, or rather an NFC reprogrammable tag for RFID and NFC. So head on over there. Bear with me for a second because I'm gonna as I encourage you to go check that out. I'm gonna fix a couple of other screen captures that went wonky. Let's see if it'll let me. Refresh, how about that? Let's go to a different one and back. No, it really doesn't want to get tricked. All right, I'm gonna rebuild. I'm gonna rebuild another one. Get ready for this. If you're just tuning in, we're having weirder than usual technical difficulties today. But it'll be worth it, I promise. I'd like to try to get these all set up now and then be able to take you through it smoothly rather than fight with each one across the show. So let's bring in a screen capture of an Arduino session. Make that normally sized. And send you that. You can watch my face as I struggle with these things. That might be kind of entertaining. All right, and let's see. That should do it, actually. We'll see. All right. So let's go back to this for a second. This is the page I'd like you to check out. It is the product page. Not only is the product page, but if I go and refresh mine, you'll see it's a product page with a 50% off deal on this product right now, and you can watch the live stream from inside of the product page if you click that, which I won't do because that causes a black hole. All right, so before I go any further, what I'm going to do is I will have Lady Ada tell us all about this new product. Take it away, Lady Ada.
It's very interesting. This is an ST25DV16, which is a EEPROM NFC I2C/NFC EEPROM. So it's like electrically, the EEPROM, it's electrically programmable memory, But what's cool is you can program it and read it over I2C or RFID. And so it's basically like an RFID tag that has a little bit of smarts in it. So you can like reprogram it dynamically over I2C whenever you like. And in, this case, for example, we have it, hold on. I can show it off. We've got,
I've got this video, but you want to
yeah, I'll show it live.
All right.
So I'll show how this works, but this is very interesting. So it's got two STEMMA QT connectors, and you use I2C to talk to it. And there's an Arduino library that ST wrote that lets you write NFC URLs. And then this is a 13.56 megahertz transceiver built in, but it can self-power from the RFID antenna. This is an antenna here. So, I can unplug the connector so you see like it's not being powered. There's no power going into it. But then when I touch it, it will take me to its own product, which is cool. So
it's self-identifying.
Yes.
That's me.
Yeah, so hi. So it works as an RFID tag, but you can program it over I2C. And then if you're really advanced, you can also use it as a way of communicating like with an app over RFID by sending like multiple messages. That's not covered in the Arduino library that we've seen. It's a more advanced topic, but it is something that's possible. But what's kind of neat is like, we set this up with an Arduino and we just wrote like incrementing URLs to it. And then when we put the phone on it, the phone was like, oh, found a new tag, found a new tag, found a new tag. So I think there's maybe some situation where people want to have, an NFC tag, but they want it to be able to change dynamically. They want to be able to program it from a microcontroller, and then as people, tap it, it takes them to the different location, or it like authenticates something differently. So only thing to watch out for, there's no Python library for this. There's only an C Arduino library written by ST. And you need to use a chip with a significant amount of RAM. I tried an Uno and it didn't work. So don't use like a 328P. Use like a SAMD21 or an ESP8266. Any chip that has more memory than about like 2K should be fine. But I definitely tried a classic Uno and it didn't work. And they wrote it, of course, for their ST chips, which are much more powerful. And that's the start of the show.
All right, so before I go any further, let me go and grab mine from the mystery cabinet. So stand by. Phew, all right, well, I've returned from that long walk across the workshop. So there it is. That is my product pick of the week. It is the ST25DV16, which is an RFID and NFC. Let me say that again. It's an NFC or RFID tag that is both readable and writable. And the really cool thing about it is that we can write to it with a microcontroller, and we can do so really quickly, which leads to some interesting things, some different uses than your typical RFID tag that's usually fixed or takes a bit of work and a lot of equipment to change the payload on it. So what I'm going to do is actually, let me demo this. So I'm going to switch to a camera here. You can see this. And so actually, let's do that, and I'll also throw that one there. So what you're seeing here, that's a direct feed on the one side of the screen of my iPhone plugged in. And then you can see it here. I've got a little wooden box, and I've set one of the tags in there. First, let me just do it with a tag. So there's a couple of ways that we can read these tags using iOS, and it varies between iOS and Android. But one thing to note is that these tags are pretty much for that. It's not for a lot of the hobby readers that you'll see out there, including the ones that Adafruit sells. This is really for iOS and Android devices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my phone here, and when I go to the controls, there's a little button at the bottom you'll see there that is the RFID or NFC tag icon. So if I tap that, it's going to say NFC tag reader, and it wants me to bring a tag up to it there. And you'll see that it brings up some sort of message. So in this case, it was saying send an email. So let me head over here to my little pre-programmed box, and I'll do the same thing. I'll press my NFC tag reader icon, I'll hold that up, and it says open in YouTube. So it knows that this is a YouTube URL, and we can open that up in a particular app. So now what I'm going to do is, you'll notice here I have a little cutie pie. That's what my NFC tag is plugged into. If you look inside the box there, that's what it's plugged into over Stemma QT. And I have a little wired up button here. When I press that, you'll see my little NeoPixel changed colors. It's green, and that means I'm going to offer up a different payload. So if I again hold down that little tab on my iPhone, hold that to the tag, it says open Adafruit in Safari. So I can tap that, and it's going to go to the URL. And this is pretty cool. So something that I found interesting is that there are actually some fairly sophisticated options inside of this latest NFC spec, which allow us to not only set what the sort of payload is, or the piece of text that's going to get read, but also the protocol for it. So there's a URI protocol and the URI itself. And you saw that before with the mail message. Let me press this button again. So now when I, again, head to my NFC tag reader and tap it, this was a phone tag NFC, so it says I could call this number. I made it 8675309. You can do phone, you can do text. Let's do another one. Oh, I'm getting a calendar item here. And we can also have it use the URI for an email. So that means that you can do a lot of different things with it beyond just URLs. I'll set that off to the side for a moment. Now let's take a look actually at a particular app. So that's the sort of built-in one in Apple, but I also downloaded an app here. This is NFC Tag Info app from NXP. And if I launch that, let's head back to that first URL. So I've clicked a little button that instantly, or almost instantly, I think it takes a couple milliseconds, rewrites the tag. And now I can, in this app, say scan and show. So rather than launching, it's going to give me info. It's ready to scan. I hold it up to the tag. It says tag read is successful. And now if I click on expert settings, you'll see here there's a bunch of different properties in this NDEF specification. The ones that I really care about right now for this are the protocol, and in this case it's the http://www dot. So that's a protocol. There's one for secure HTTP, there's one with and without the 3 W's. So these are in essence little shorteners for the type of, you can think of it almost like a MIME. How's it going to be interpreted? It's like a MIME object or a protocol. And then the rest of it is the payloads. You'll see how it's encrypted down there and a few other details. So I'm going to switch my tag again. I'll head back to this scan and show. Tag read, and it's the Adafruit product ID, so that would just take us to this product itself. That has the same protocol, but now check this out. When I go and hit my button, switch it over again, do a little scan and show, and now this time it says this is a number, and it knows that it's of the telephone URI protocol. So there, tel:. And last one here to show, if I go scan and show, you can also have it scan and launch. This one is going to be of the mail type, mail to. So let's take a look. If we head over to Arduino, that was one of the things that I had to re-screen capture there. Here is the code, and this is, I updated the example. So if you download the library in Arduino for the ST25DV16, you'll get a couple of example codes along with the library. This was, I think, the Hello World example, and I've just modified it here to include NeoPixel and set up this button. And then you'll notice I've got a couple strings here. One is going to be the protocol, and one is going to be the message. And I have a little cheat sheet I made here as I found this stuff out. So here are some different protocol values. So you can do, like I said, http://www dot, or secure version of that, or secure and unsecure version of that that don't have the www, as well as here's the telephone one, mail to, there's even an FTP one and a file one, which I don't know how you'd use on the phone. And there's a huge list. I actually put a little link here to a cheat sheet. If you look here, this was a table I found online of some of the other types of URI prefixes or protocols that you can use. So heading back to Arduino, you can see that this is pretty straightforward to use once you know how it works. So we essentially end up combining this string with the protocol along with the message or payload that we care about. So here you can see I have a YouTube link, I have Adafruit, I have this phone number, and I have this email address. We have a little bit of setup there where that gets turned into the right string, as well as some NeoPixel and button setup. And then there's, in the example, you can use the serial port to see when it's reading and writing. And then when we actually, and so, pardon my sort of not optimized code here, but I wanted to be very clear, and it's how I tend to do things. Here, when we press the button, is what happens. There's these 4 different cases, and in each of them, this is the command that matters, which is st25dv.writeURI, URI_protocol, and I picked web for this one in message A, web for the next one in message A, telephone protocol in message C, and mail protocol in message D. Of course, you could optimize this and make this cleaner code, but you can see what's happening there is that's the command. So that's what writes that new data. It just takes a moment. If I hit this button, boom, it's written. And now if we go back and try that out with, let's say, the iOS app, let me bring that image back on. You can see as I go up to my tag reader, it reads this YouTube. If I open up that, we're actually that's the product pick of the week playlist that I have there. So we will definitely get sucked into a black hole if I am not careful there. So that's it. That's the gizmo. That is my product pick of the week. It is the ST25DV16. It is a rewritable NFC tag. I believe the spec sheet, if we head over to, let's take a look briefly at, here's the product page. If you click on the product page down in the Learn section, that'll take you to the Learn Guide. A couple things about the product itself. It actually has a little GPO, general purpose output pin on it, and it can use energy harvested off of the antenna to do something like light a tiny LED. So if you need some indicator on the tag itself, it has a function for that. Otherwise, you can see it's programmable over I2C. We used the STEMMA QT cable to make that easy and plugged it into this QT Py in this case. And then you can also check out the data sheet, which is a link in the Learn Guide. And here you'll see, I was wondering, gosh, how many times can you write to this? Well, apparently you can write 1,000,000 times if you're writing at 25 degrees centigrade, and then it goes down from there. So if it's really hot out, 400,000 times at 125 C. So you get a lot of rewrites with this, so I wouldn't worry about cycling through them. As Lady Ada said, you could use it in a mode that's just constantly cycling them so that you could have sort of randomized answers come up when people tag a thing. I've of course, got a great love for doing things like puzzle boxes and illusions for magicians, as well as mystery boxes, escape rooms, that sort of thing. This would be terrific for that because it's you could very discreetly reprogram this with just a little tiny STEMMA QT cable running to a microcontroller, and then base that on different events and circumstances and puzzles that are getting solved. Let's see. So I think that covers what I wanted to cover about the device. One other fun fact from the data sheet, I was wondering, well, how long will that data be readable? 40 years. The data retention on the data sheet says 40 years. So plan your really long con now. And we'll see how we're doing in the year 2060 with our NFC tags and the ancient iPhone you used to read it. All right, so yes, that is it. That is my product pick of the week. It is the ST25DV16 programmable NFC RFID, programmable over I2C. I love it. I think it's really an interesting and fun little gizmo, given that power to update it from a microcontroller so easily. So I'm going to go ahead and set that on my pegboard of Stemma QT awesomeness. And that's going to do it. So before I wrap up, I'll remind you, you can head over to the product page and get it for 50% off right now during this broadcast only. We'll give you a few minutes afterwards to sort your cart out. But there it is. It's product 4701. Head to that URL and go pick up 1 or 10. I think that's the limit with the discount. And so that's going to do it for another JP's Product Pick of the Week for Adafruit Industries. I'm John Park, and I will see you next week. Thanks, everyone.